"She's in the trunk." These are the words of Lewis Coleman as he stepped out of his vehicle, hands raised, on Interstate 95. On February 28, 2019, a police officer near Wilmington, Delaware, spotted a vehicle that he had been informed over the radio may have a connection with the kidnapping and disappearance of 22-year-old J.C. Coya approximately 4 days prior. The officer would pursue making the car pull over before ordering Coleman to exit the vehicle. For the officer's own safety, they began to order whoever was in the trunk to step out, but after a few minutes, there was no response. After finally opening the trunk themselves, the officers would find a suitcase Coleman had purchased days prior with JC's lifeless body inside. Surveillance footage would show that Coleman had met JC at a nightclub on the night of her disappearance before the two left together after he would offer her a ride home when she got separated from her friends. During the drive, he would stop, assault her, and strangle her to death. He would then bring her back to his apartment at around 2 in the morning. Coleman would also have his vehicle washed multiple times and Google things like how to pull a tooth that's not loose and can a person fit inside a suitcase. He would then purchase a suitcase, duct tape, 50-gallon trash bags, and more in the following days before being captured on camera struggling to place the suitcase into his trunk at 1:15 a.m. the day of his arrest. On June 1st, 2022, Coleman was convicted by a jury in Boston for the federal charge of kidnapping resulting in death, for which he would be given a life sentence. While it is bad enough that he took the life of JC, who people say was a vibrant and beautiful woman, he also took a mother away from JC's daughter, who was no more than only a couple of years old at most at the time. Almost exactly a year before Lewis Coleman's conviction, Michael Shackleford would be driving through San Antonio, Texas, when he would see the passenger side door of a gray sedan in front of him fly open, and a woman inside desperately screaming for help. Even though Shackleford was on his way to work, he would abandon his plans and begin to follow the car, all the while calling 911. The intense call and chase was captured on his truck's dashcam. Each time the vehicle would slow down, the door would open again, resulting in the driver stepping on the gas, making it impossible for the woman to safely exit the vehicle. However, the woman would be seen kicking and struggling inside the car, causing the man behind the wheel to sometimes drive erratically. But eventually, as the car slowed while driving under an overpass on Military Road, the woman made her move and jumped from the vehicle, falling to the road before getting up and running to the side.
She jumped out! She jumped out! She jumped out!
The car would slow again, almost as if they were thinking about what to do, before he stepped on the gas again and left the scene. Shackleford would pull up alongside the woman and tell her to get in his truck.
"Ma'am, get in my truck! Get in my truck!
He's been hitting me.
Get in the back!"
The woman could be heard saying that the man was hitting her and had all of her things, presumably meaning her purse and or wallet, phone, etc. Before long, Shackleford and the woman in the back seat would find a police cruiser and flag them down before pulling off to a parking lot where the woman was able to be treated by paramedics and be taken to a hospital. The man driving the car would turn out to be the woman's abusive husband, who would later be captured and taken into custody. Speaking of being trapped inside a vehicle, Carl Bayer was a truck driver making his way through Pennsylvania when Hurricane Ida was moving up the East Coast. The dashcam footage he was able to capture shows some strong weather, however nothing that I thought looked too concerning. But as the light turns green in front of him, he instead decides to stay put, likely seeing something we can't. All the while, the radio plays weather warning after weather warning.
The tornado watch remains in effect until 10 p.m. for southeastern Pennsylvania.
Staying put would ultimately appear to be the wise decision, as the weather only gets stronger and stronger, and soon visibility through the windshield is almost at zero. That is when a tornado formed right at the intersection, grabbed his 53-foot-long truck, and threw it to the side. Bayer almost looked like he was clinging to a wall thanks to the fact he was being strapped in by his seatbelt. Thankfully, however, a man driving a van not too far away would see the truck flip and immediately make a U-turn to come back and help Bayer. With this man's help, he would be able to climb out of the truck, and the two would both abandon the truck and the van and run to take shelter in a nearby building. Thankfully, neither man was hurt. ABC 6 would later report wind speeds had reached an estimate of anywhere from 100 to 130 miles per hour, or 209 kilometers per hour. On the subject of something just happening in the blink of an eye, in February of 2015, there were reports of a potential gas leak near Manahawkin, New Jersey. The Stafford Township Police, firefighters, EMTs, and New Jersey natural gas workers were all searching for the cause, when suddenly, a house they were standing by exploded, throwing many of them to the ground and showering them with debris. The home was under renovation at the time and completely unoccupied. However, as many as 15 first responders were injured in the blast, 6 of which had to be flown to the hospital, 2 of them in critical condition. The officer who recorded this blast actually managed to do so with perfect timing, because he was walking to his cruiser at the time of the explosion and jumped inside to hit the record button, knowing that the camera records everything up to 30 seconds prior to the time he presses record. The leak, which was later identified to be coming from a ruptured line, was suddenly placed on pause. Even though everyone injured would survive, can't deny just how terrifying it is to see something like a house be there one moment and gone in the next. Houses, however, aren't the only thing disappearing on camera. In New South Wales, a driver named Mitchell was traveling with his mother when suddenly he spotted what appeared to be a child in the road. At the time, he was towing a trailer, and it would have been dangerous for him to slam on the brakes, so unfortunately, he had to continue driving. However, his mother, in the passenger seat, called the authorities and alerted them to the child's location. The police would send out multiple vehicles to search the area. On April 19th, Mitchell contacted the police and asked them where he could send the dashcam footage he had taken. However, the police gave him some good news. The officer on the phone let him know that sending the footage would not be needed because the child had been found and was in the process of being returned home. However, as news outlets began to pick up the story, they discovered something rather odd. The police station would tell them that there was no child. Having spoken with Mitchell prior, they would press further, bringing up the fact that they had told Mitchell the child was safe. Instead of confirming this, they would deny ever speaking to him, saying they did not find a child, and they did not tell Mitchell they had either. This, of course, would result in some backlash from the community, and on the following day, a second search would be conducted, but again, no child would be found. This, of course, made Mitchell rather upset. I know a few people have expressed their doubts that the shape in the road was a child, but Mitchell truly believes it was, and now the police department is calling him a liar. The station would also add that there was no missing child report at the time, so in this instance, I hope Mitchell simply made a mistake. Well, that's it for now. Please consider liking the video to help the algorithm and subscribe to see more content like it. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this one, where I talk about 5 other crazy things captured on Dashcam. I'll see you next time.